And we're live.
What up?
What's up, dude?
Nothing much. Just about to Bobby it up.
What'd you do today?
Today? Wow, I haven't done anything today. I came here from home. But the weekend was a lot more eventful.
What happened?
I went back home. It was my dad's birthday. Took the boat out. Drank a lot of beers. Yeah, actually, I guess it wasn't like that eventful, but it was really fun.
Is a blurry weekend?
It was a blurry weekend. But Travis Scott just dropped Utopia. I waited 5 years for that album. It was good. So it was just, you know what? It was just a good weekend. Like nothing crazy, but just know that I was just ultimately very happy this weekend.
I'm so out of the loop on like hip hop music. I've just stopped listening completely. I only listen to country. So I didn't even know he dropped an album until like last night.
I know. And you're from Houston, so that's just pretty insane. It's just weird that you didn't even know. But it's good, man. Give it a listen. Maybe this will reintroduce you to the hip hop world.
Maybe. So today's episode, we are watching Barbie. And because this is a very girly movie and we did not grow up with Barbie, we have a special guest, which is why there's this chair sitting here in the middle. So special guest, Mercedes, please make your entrance.
What is up?
What up? This is your second appearance on the podcast. The first one was a little bit of a blur.
Surprised you remember it.
Right.
But
I remember it.
Do you?
Nope.
I remember it, but I was definitely pretty sauced on the podcast.
What was the movie?
The Machine.
The Machine.
Shit.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I remember it."
Yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me now. It was The Machine. We pre-gamed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome, Mercedes.
Thank you. I'm super stoked to be here.
How excited have you been to get on this podcast?
On the podcast, basically, since you came to me with the idea, I want to have a podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I love to talk. I need to do it. And
well, you talk all day at the salon.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, that is.
You'd think she'd get all of her words out, but
Nope.
She
gets home.
I can
she's
tell
still
you
ready to go.
No, that drive home, silent. I can't do.
Try to keep this like a fist, I think. I think because your mic's a little better, so it's loud.
Oh.
So keep it like this far.
Okay.
There you go.
Perfect.
She's new here.
Super excited about the podcast. Even more excited for this movie.
Do you know anything special about this movie that we don't?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like this movie has been hyped up for so long. I remember when the hype was like starting to grow a little bit more, and whenever you have something that's just like that iconic figure, I think it's just so marketable. Like this idea of like Barbie and a lot of girls that are my age that grew up with Barbie, it's nostalgic. Nostalgia is super huge in Hollywood right now. Like you can make any movie out of anything nostalgic and it will make money.
Well, it's just, what's it called? Intellectual property. All the brands, labels.
Yeah.
Brand names. That's the only thing that makes money right now. Nobody wants to watch an original movie, it seems like.
So that being said, I think that the marketing was perfect for this movie. I did see an interview from Margot Robbie, who is a producer. She produced this with Greta Gerwig. And she said that she read the first script and she was like, oh, it's a shame that we'll never be able to make this movie. So
Why?
I think it's going to be, well, because I think it's like a critical commentary on, she thought that Mattel wouldn't let them make this movie. Because I think Mattel
Who's Mattel?
The company that made Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the actual brand that made it?
Yeah. They make all like the toys and stuff. And so what I think it's going to be is like this social commentary that I'm hoping doesn't go too feminist, because I feel like it's going to ruin it for feminist commentaries. But I mean, I've seen a bunch of stuff. It's been out for a week. So I think it'll be very tasteful. Can't go wrong with that cast list. We were talking about it with Ryan Gosling, but I guess we can get more into that after we watch it.
How much did you play with Barbies as a kid?
So when I was younger, I played with Barbies a lot. And then when I got older, like preteens and stuff, I like went full on like, I hate pink and I'm a tomboy and all this. And I actually had these.
You're the girliest, not girly girl there is.
That is true. You know, and I think like me becoming a hairstylist.
That's you right there.
Oh my gosh, my bad. I think having to care about what I looked like and then being in an industry that's kind of just about like being cute. Okay.
There you go.
Okay, that's better. Kind of just about like looking good and stuff like that. I'm definitely at the girliest stage of my life right now. And anyone that knew me when I was younger will tell you that. So
that Taylor Swift album didn't help.
Well,
Nope.
yeah, I was about to say like I am at my girliest time right now because I absolutely love Taylor Swift. And what a time to be a girl right now. Let me tell y'all.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is at I want to say the absolute height of her career, but I don't even think that's true. I think, you know, it can always go bigger.
Team Jake.
Literally get out of here. Y'all suck. So, and then Barbie is an icon. Like I was talking to shout out Casey Gates. We were talking about it. We used to go on her like
Been here not 5 minutes and she's already giving shout outs.
Because she reminded me of when we were younger and there was like computer games and like PC games and stuff like that. You would go on her website and you could like take care of her baby. And then that was around, I think when I was playing with Barbies was when they launched like the career Barbies. Like she has like 250
Nurse.
careers that she could be.
Kitchen.
No. You did not just say that.
Laundry. Just kidding, guys.
Well.
Just kidding.
I love women.
That's bad Kinergy.
It's what?
That's bad Kinergy.
Yeah, bad Kinergy.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about this Kinergy.
Well, my Kinergy went away when I had to change my pink shirt because it shrunk on me.
I know.
You're
yeah.
full kin. You're full kin right now, Gray.
Yeah, I'm on theme because I take this podcast seriously.
Shut the fuck up.
I care about what we do. I had a vision for going to see this movie. Mercedes even being on this podcast right now, as much as we love her and love to, talk to her, let's not get this confused. This is strictly business, okay? Because I don't know shit about Barbie. I don't know anything about the dolls. I didn't play with them. Maybe a couple times. My sister had the house, but I didn't know the story.
Yeah.
But like, Mercedes is gonna bring something bigger to the table than what me and Kade could have.
Yep. Me and you probably just would shit on the movie the whole time if it was just me and you.
No, I'm going into it with an open mind. Like Mercedes said earlier, the cast just looks really good. Honestly, just Ryan Gosling and Will Ferrell sharing the screen. I've seen it before. It's funny. Margot Robbie.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, kind of like Butterfly from the last podcast. Like I'm a fan. I love what she stands for. She's a really good actress.
She actually is a really good actress.
She is
though.
a good actress.
No, she is so good.
Babylon, when she was doing like the
her
crime
like
scenes
range
back
is
and forth.
really really good.
I meant to
She's
tell you
good.
this. You remember that scene that Gray's talking about in the movie Babylon? There's not a podcast on it, but there's a scene where she is able to control her tears and give the perfect timed cry in the scenes. She can literally do that.
Yeah.
That's like one of her skills as an actress, is that she can sit there and tell you like, what eye do you want me to cry out of? When you want it to drop, like tell me when you want it to drop and I'll make it drop. Like has full control of her tear ducts.
That's insane.
It's like a muscle that she's trained. So
Yes.
she is literally a badass actress.
Yes. No, she really is a good actress. I mean,
But yeah,
like Harley Quinn. Yeah, I mean, she's hot as fuck too. But like Harley Quinn, that's insane. Like she killed that role.
Wolf of Wall Street killed that role.
Killed that role.
Yeah.
But no. She's very talented. I'm going into this movie with an open mind. I kind of know like a couple of things just because my sister was telling me about it this weekend. Like a little bit of a basis. So it sounds interesting. So I'm ready to go.
I think it's time to roll.
It is time to roll.
Yeah.
Mercedes,
We're gonna be
any
late.
last pointers?
It's Barbie.
It's Barbie.
It's Barbie. And we're back. We just watched Barbie. I liked it.
It was amazing. Everything that I hoped it would be.
So it ended up being a great decision to bring Mercedes to this movie because apparently we just didn't pick up on a lot. And that is what I fully expected. Like we said at the beginning, I don't know anything about Barbie. I didn't watch any of the movies, didn't play with the dolls, anything. So it was good to have Mercedes. I mean, she was crying for a good 20 minutes.
Literally, leave me alone.
And I just didn't get it, and she did. So this was a good idea. So Mercedes, why don't you just
let it loose?
Take the wheel. She's ready to go.
Not even
ladies
to
and
say
gentlemen.
anything about the two of you. I think I listen to all of your podcasts, of course, and a lot of times, which I think is easy or nice to address to the audience, is that I watch those movies with y'all. So a lot of times I'll be on my way home from work or something, and I'm like, no, that's not what happened, or something like that, or I have something to say. So I'm really happy that I can be here for this, but no, like I said, nothing to say anything about the two of you, but I don't think that you could have fully understood the weight of this movie and everything that carried, and the references not only to Barbie but to women that you couldn't, understand without being a woman. So I think we should start off with the director, Greta Gerwig. I don't know if y'all know her work.
What would we have seen?
So she did Lady Bird.
I think I've seen that in school.
I've seen Lady Bird.
That one's pretty cool. It's it was a modern take on a coming of age film for young girls, and that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, she has sex with Timothée Chalamet, and she's pretty disappointed by it.
Well, also...
Actually, I don't think I have seen it because I don't remember anything about it.
Oh. That one's pretty good. You should definitely watch it. And then she also did...
She accidentally outs the guy.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
So she did that one. She also did the most recent Little Women, which is my favorite version of Little Women. That also has Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh in it. So she does a really good job at these feminist commentaries and modernizing them. So perfect woman for the job.
This movie and Barbie, it was like a girl movie that didn't just shit on men.
Yeah. No, because I was telling Gray beforehand, I was kind of worried about this, that it wouldn't be a tasteful commentary. And I did see some things on social media to where people were upset that it was they felt it was shitting on men because all the men in the movie are a little bit, dumber than the women and stuff like that.
It's also a Ken doll, though. It's a Ken doll. A Ken doll is
Well, and that's the whole point, is that it's not about Ken. It is Barbie and Ken, So this movie wasn't for the Kens. It was for the Barbies. So I think...
That's the title.
Exactly. So I think I think it was just enough to get the message across. I don't think it was too much shitting on men or anything like that. Would it be possible to pull up the budget for hair and makeup? And no, you can't pull that up.
I don't know. I probably could, but...
Because I would be interested on wardrobe and hair and makeup because it was spot on. Growing up and playing with those Barbies and seeing those outfits. I definitely won't be
able to find out the budget of specific things, but I could give you the whole budget.
Yeah. I think America Ferrera was perfect.
Oh, that's cool.
And I know I saw that it has a bunch of little...
It's pink. The whole thing is pink.
Yeah.
My Google just turned to pink when I searched Barbie.
It's cool.
Holy shit, it's taking over again.
Oh my God.
It's cool. Barbie is cool. And
wow. The budget was between $128 to $145 million.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense, though. That was a big set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of props, a lot of different wardrobe. Think of how many times they changed their outfits. Each character, there was a ton of extras too.
Yeah, how much did they pay
Land.
John Cena to be a mermaid?
I bet he was just happy to do that.
Yeah, he likes to put on wigs and stuff. You ever watch Jimmy Fallon's Ew? You ever watch that?
Yeah.
He was in that.
With Justin Timberlake?
Yeah, those are funny.
I liked how everything was a toy in Barbie Land. Like they all mimic the toys, is like the same logic of how girls play with the Barbie dolls.
Yeah.
She didn't really sit fully in her thing. She was kind of a little bit straight, you know, because they can't bend their legs. The Barbie dolls can't.
Yeah.
And now I thought it was dumb that they explained that she just floats down because there's no stairs. They don't take stairs.
Well, maybe that's for people that didn't really play with Barbies.
Yeah, but you can pick that up. You can pick it up from they're not pouring anything out of the milk, her not drinking anything, her not actually eating the food.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know that girls just pick up a Barbie doll and put it on the ground.
Yeah. But I think it just adds to all of it. Like I understand the commentary of what she's doing at the beginning. It was probably a little self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It started with that narrator.
Like we knew what was going on. You didn't have to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think
that could have just been for the kids.
Could have been, but it's PG-13.
There were so many little kids that left that theater with us with their Barbie dolls. Like they could have used a little bit of explanation. Yeah, I feel like it's a good movie for little girls to watch. There were definitely some adult references though.
Yeah, but they would have gone over their head. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Wait, which part?
Beat you off?
Yeah.
Beach.
Or Margot Robbie just explain, or should I say Barbie, like telling the construction workers, "Oh, I don't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis."
Like, oh, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
And Ryan's like, "Actually, I have all the genitals."
Yeah, and it was very over dramatic when they first got to the real world and all the guys were like oogling over her. But as a woman walking down the street, if you're looking good, dudes are looking at you. So it 100%. Was a little bit over dramatic how they were saying the things to her. But imagine all of those things.
Especially in California. Like, you know damn well in California ain't nobody doing that.
What do you mean?
Like in LA, everybody's very open to you. There's not many people like out there.
Catcalling?
Yeah, I doubt the people. Maybe there are in California, maybe.
I mean,
well, maybe not because everybody's like woke out there, but
it's not. It's not to the extremity like she's saying. They just over dramatized it.
I think it was like voicing what's going on in men's heads when they see like a woman walking down the street and she looks good, like Margot Robbie. It was like almost like showing, and it was a good aha moment for her, for them to physically be saying that to her. And the minute she hits the real world, she notices like all the stares and she's like, I don't like this. I don't like how I feel, which is like kind of the reality of the situation, you know, because I think that women should feel comfortable wearing whatever they want, you know, without having to deal with that going down the street. However, that's just not realistic, you know. But and then Ken automatically just like leveling up in the real world because he's like, oh shoot, look at this, these men rule these world.
I thought it seemed like Barbie Land, obviously this is obvious, it was a flip-flop of the real world. Obviously the women are in power, the men are secondary.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it kind of showed what it is like today, almost, the idea where it's like overpowering the other side, like too far, where the other side goes too far over.
Yeah.
Like Ken just took over the world, destroyed the women. It was just like a complete 180. And like today, it seems like sometimes it's like overpowering the other way.
Yeah.
So it's like a mirroring of how it works.
But even then at the end, when she's like, Ken, I think I owe you an apology for being like standoffish to him at the beginning. It's like, it really shouldn't be too much one side, or, you know, and I think that's the whole message, is that just as human beings, we should all have our own place, whether that, you know, and just respect each other as human beings, not men and women.
Yeah, it did. I thought it did a good job where it's a movie for girls. It's about a girl story. There's a lot of girl messaging, but it wasn't shitting on men or saying anything bad about men. It was just, you're your own person. Women are their own person. You're just an individual. You know, find your own place in life.
Yeah. I think America Ferrera's character, that's the mom, and then her daughter was a great depiction of like older people that grew up with Barbie, because I felt like I resonated more with America Ferrera's character than her daughter, because for us, it was like Barbie came up and it's like, we love Barbie. She shows us everything that we can be, and it's supposed to be a positive thing. That's what she was made to be. That's obviously why all the Barbies think that everything's okay, because that's the message that they were built with. But then the younger generation, all they see is like, it's oppressing us because it shows unrealistic body images and stuff like that. But I think if you can get past this like almost like teenage rage about it, the smoke clears and you're like, no, this is supposed to be like a celebration of women to
Barbie's supposed to be the most like ideal women. Like she's supposed to be the perfect girl.
Yeah, and it's not a negative thing. At least I don't see it like that. Like how I can't remember her name, but America Ferrera's character is like, she's just like, I love Barbie, and she showed me everything that I could be, and she inspired me. When, you know, her daughter's in the back and she's like kind of shitting on Barbie, and America's like, well, you inspired me, you know, when I was a little girl. And when she got into Barbie Land, she's like, oh, look at that. I saved up all my allowance to get that toy. I very much felt that. I remember when I first got my first Barbie dream house when I was younger, my grandmother got it at a garage sale and she brought it over, and I was just like, oh, I was so happy. And I didn't have all the perfect Barbies. I definitely had a weird Barbie. I cut off all her hair and I drew on her face and I made her weird clothes, but that's the whole point of toys.
The movie seemed very relatable.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yes.
Well, and that was something like the weird Barbie thing. Again, that was a reference that like I didn't get, but as soon as Weird Barbie was mentioned, and like they showed the depiction of her like getting her hair like torn out, burned, all the weird makeup, like all the ladies in the theater like started laughing, and I was like, oh, y'all all had weird Barbies.
Yes,
you
we all
fucking
did.
freaks.
Did you call it Weird Barbie?
No,
it was just
no, we never called it. Well, that's also a good point that all the Barbies called her Weird Barbie. To her, they said behind your back and to your face, and she's like, oh, it's cool, you know. But at the end, they banded together with Weird Barbie to get the world back to how it was supposed to be, you know. So I think that's also a thing about women with women. It's like we kind of, as a species, are able to single out weird versions of ourselves, but as a female race, I don't know how to say that, but as a unity, kind of like banding together, you know, to work out problems. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say that.
It seemed very true because women are very good at manipulating things. Because I heard this good analogy from somebody. It was on a podcast. It was like, the thing with men and women, if a man is mad at somebody, they'll just kill you. Versus a woman, if they're mad at somebody, they'll just make you kill yourself. Because they you know, manipulate. Men will just use their brute force. Women will use their mind and just manipulate and get their thing what they want. And they did that. They manipulated all the men.
Wait a minute, they did that in this movie.
Yeah,
exactly. It seemed true. Like it didn't seem like anything was like a fake,
or it was too much out there.
Like pretending that women or men are a certain way. It was very true to like who we are by like I guess biologically, or how women's minds work.
How the minds work. Yeah,
like truthfully how it works.
Yeah,
not like a fake, you know, fake women empowerment kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what my mom used to always tell me?
What?
She used to say, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck, and they can turn the man however which way that they want. Because that's like kind of how it works.
Not me, woman.
I'm just saying, and my dad always says the female of the species is more deadlier than the male, which I think is very true. Our brains work, you know, intertwined, and we see this big picture, whereas men can compartmentalize. But of course, those come with their pros and cons. There's a reason why women like fall down this rabbit hole of like, because like everything's connected. It's like if my outfit doesn't work, then everyone's going to judge me and then I'm going to have a hard time. That's how it works, is the spiraling down. But men are very much list thinkers, that they can compartmentalize one problem and then not associate it with one over here. And I think that was pretty clear in the movie in how the characters worked and interacted with each other. Yeah.
Well put.
Did y'all see any of the press tour for this movie beforehand?
I've seen like a couple of interviews, but nothing like big.
Like no like red carpet pictures or anything?
No, I haven't seen any of that.
That was like a huge part, obviously, to get the ball rolling on this movie. Is so Margot Robbie worked with this one designer, and I can't remember his name. But they took these really old school Barbies, like these iconic outfits, and recreated them in a modern way on a real life person. And it was nostalgic, and it added to the nostalgia of that movie because it got me excited, like, oh, maybe I'll see something that I remember in my childhood. And it was totally right. You know, I think the one complaint I have with this movie is Dua Lipa was the mermaid Barbie. And I didn't have this Barbie, but my friends did. And you would take it to the pool. And if her tail was blue, which her tail was blue, it turned purple in the water. And I was disappointed.
My cousins had that one. I remember that.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed that when she, like, at least, like, I felt that when she, because you never really saw her tail in the water, but whenever she pushed out, half of her tail could have been changed, you know, as a nod to that. But other than that, I think many cool references.
She was paying attention to this movie. Yeah.
I think.
But again, if you played with something as a kid and they had all these little bitty tricks, you're gonna be like, oh, there's a mermaid Barbie. Ooh, I wonder if the tail's gonna change colors. So I do remember that. My cousins had the mermaid Barbie, and they remember the tail's changing colors.
Also, do you know why Ken was so obsessed with horses?
No.
In the movie, it's because originally that was like the only like accessory or side thing that Ken also had other than Barbie was a horse.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. I put that together at the end. I was like, oh, I do remember that. He may have had other things now modern, but like when he first came out, that was the only thing that he also had was horses.
It is funny that Ken is such a side character and everybody just accepts that Ken's just a low end person because girls don't want to have a boy doll. If they're playing with Barbie, they want to play with Barbie. So they made a Ken doll that probably just tanked. What girl honestly had a Ken doll?
Well, and
I did. I had a Ken doll.
Okay, but you had one Ken doll versus 50 Barbies?
What I was going to say is I only had a Ken doll to be my Barbie's boyfriend.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why I had one. And to make them... And you notice how they never kissed. Because you can't really show it. If they were trying to stay true to how the dolls moved and stuff, because we would always make our Barbies kiss and it would just be a giant thud. So I think if they would have tried to kiss, a funny way is them just like bonking heads or something like that. Yeah.
What do you think it's about? Why do you think she didn't want to date Ken? Why do they not stick to that truth? Not truth of that theme of how Barbie and Ken were boyfriend and girlfriend. Why do you think they steered away from that?
I think it's because Barbie wasn't made to need Ken. And if you think, because I did see this on social media where they said that America Ferrera was talking to Barbie and they were talking about Ken because America Ferrera is talking about her husband. She's like, oh, he'll be fine, you know? And then she was like, oh, because my Barbie didn't ever need a Ken, you know? So if Margot Robbie is linked with America Ferrera, then it makes sense that Margot Robbie also thinks she doesn't need a Ken because that's what America Ferrera thinks.
But they could have done that and still have dated. Why do you think they didn't make them date? That's what I'm asking.
Because it's coming from like the childhood of, or like the perspective of like a girl child, where like she has the boyfriend and everything, but like she doesn't want him to sleep over because like she wants to be with her girlfriend, and that's like what a 5 to, I don't know, like 10-year-old girl probably feels like about boys. Like they might think they're cute, but like they also want them to keep their distance.
They don't know why they would spend the night. Why would you spend the night? I don't know. Like, no, it's
girls' night.
Yeah, it's always girls' night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I guess it makes sense too, because the girls that had the Ken dolls, you can probably relate to this, where they had the boyfriend, but it wasn't a serious relationship because it's just a fun little thing they did for like 30 minutes with the play doll, right? They weren't always playing with a Ken. It wasn't a thing.
No. Ken only made a couple of appearances. That's why like Ken's character is so important in this movie, because like the only way he has a really good day is if Barbie even acknowledges him.
Yeah. To emphasize that there is no Ken without Barbie. Yeah. You know, and I think if they made them date, it would have sparked this almost like love story, which is not what the movie was about. Yeah, that's not Barbie.
That's not Barbie, Kade.
However, my Barbie and Ken did get married. Right. They did get married. And then I actually, I've never...
They divorced.
found, let's just say found, it might have been left at my house from one of my friends or whatever, but I remember I got a little baby doll, like a little baby Barbie, and I was so stoked because then my Ken and Barbie could have a baby, and they like had a baby, and they had such a cute family.
Nice.
Yep, they had sex. All right, so listen.
No genitals.
No genitals.
Fun fact: the lady that plays Ruth, or I guess like the creator of Barbie, that's actually the creator's daughter.
No way. Oh,
Well,
geez.
that was adorable. No. That could totally be false, but I did hear a lady telling a crowd of people that while y'all were in the restroom, she was like explaining.
Yeah, can we fact check that, please?
Fact check me.
That could be pretty cool. Because she is an actress. I
mean,
have
this
seen
lady-
her in
this-
multiple things.
This lady that I heard saying it, I mean, she was telling like 10 people this with confidence. And they were like, what? That's amazing.
So now if I go back, because now as I'm recalling that scene when we first meet her, when Barbie goes through that door, if you look at the table, it has little pieces of cloth on it.
That is not true.
Nice.
The girl's name is Ray Perlman.
Thanks for
the old lady?
wasting our time.
Yeah.
Gray.
Ruth Handler. So her last name would be Handler. It's not.
Damn. Well, I thought it was awesome. That lady had everybody in the theater fooled. I'm not embarrassed.
Ray
That was
Perlman.
awesome.
She's like, how do I get a crowd around me really fast?
she had
I know an insight.
Because she's
Yeah.
a pretty classic actress.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I know her from Matilda.
Wow, I can't
yeah.
believe that lady just
Yeah.
went out of her way to just lie.
To a crowd of people. It was on
Yeah.
Instagram or something. Where'd you see it?
No, it
I'm
was in
talking
real
like
life.
right in front of me. The
Yeah.
like there was this lady that just she was like talking to like two families, and then she was just like, yeah, the old lady playing Ruth, that was actually the creator of Barbie's daughter.
No.
And just not true at all. Okay, so
Yeah, no. Sorry, bro.
hey, that's awesome.
That would have been cool.
Would have been cool, but damn. All right.
What was I saying to you before he just... I can't remember while you were looking that up. Oh,
I don't know.
when you look at that scene when she goes in there, when we find out later that she's the creator of Barbie, if you when she sits down at the table, she has little pieces of cloth and a sewing machine
Yeah.
to make clothes. So now if you look back, you're like, oh, that's
her creating Barbie.
Yeah.
All the costumes. and
I noticed
everything.
this too. Whenever you see that, obviously the little girl in the real world, she's wearing dark clothes, not very Barbie, but her mom is wearing Barbie type clothes. She's wearing blue,
Pink,
white,
yeah.
pink.
She was inspired.
So she always had a little bit of Barbie in her still, which is, so it's very clear from the beginning that she's the one that Barbie's trying to help. Because she still has Barbie. She always wore Barbie type clothes.
She always had Barbie within her.
That's
Maybe,
where-
you know what? Maybe it was the old lady on the bench that lady was talking about.
Oh, maybe like a Stan Lee type of.
I mean, because that was just kind of
cameo.
a random.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
All right,
That
let's
was
look
kind
that
of
up.
a
Let me
random
look this
thing.
up.
That would
Yeah.
make a lot more sense because all she said was, she was like, "You're so beautiful," and she was like, "I know it."
Yeah.
That would make way more sense.
I don't know if I should open this can of worms while Cade's looking something up, and he's just gonna shout something. And
Keep going. I'm looking.
What you got, Mercedes?
let's talk about that part that made me ugly cry.
Yeah, I want to hear
have
about.
not-
You didn't describe your emotional attachment to the movie. That's what we were waiting you to rant about. Let's hear
I
it.
wanted to get to it,
Okay,
but
okay.
that I have not ugly cried, let alone in a movie.
It was tough for me not to stare.
For a long, I knew you were staring at me.
No. I peeked.
I
I did
had-
not stare.
I had to
peeked
put
and I
my-
saw what was going on. And I was like, okay, I'm going to let her have her moment.
Well, because at first I'm just dabbing, doing the girl thing. I'm like my makeup, And then like my lip, like when I start to cry, my lip really does tremble like a cartoon character. I'm like, And so I had to cover my mouth because I knew you were looking at me because I was ugly crying. So just for context, it was this part where all of the Barbies are brainwashed by the Kens and they're trying to... America Ferrera goes to Barbie Land and she's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be Barbie. You're supposed to be empowered and this is for you and everything. And she goes on this rant of just femininity. It's like, you have to look pretty, but not too pretty that you're going to overstage your friends. You have to look desirable, but not too desirable, because then men are going to be all over you. And then if you do look desirable and men are all over you, you're a whore, or something like that. There's always these catch-22s of being a woman. It's like almost every step that you make, you're walking on these eggshells, just in society's eyes, that they want you to be. It's like you have to be a mother, but then don't talk too much about your kids. If you don't want to be a mother, then you're shamed. There's all these, and it hit very close to home, and it was all very true. There was nothing in that entire movie, let alone in that rant, that was not true. And it was just so emotional for me to hear that, because it's almost like watching this movie as a woman. It's like, okay, everybody else thinks this. Everyone else struggles with these things as a woman. And I think it's really easy, especially with social media going on and seeing only the best part of people's lives, to think that I'm the only one that struggles with these expectations. And so it was very emotional for me. And even at the end, where it showed this big montage of femininity, and, even though it's really hard to be a woman, I wouldn't ever want to change anything about it, because I love being a woman and I love having other women around me. And that's a really special thing, I think.
Nice. Hit home right there.
It was beautiful. I was
very good.
really hard not to cry just now, and I will probably ugly cry in the shower later in a fetal position.
I think another big wake-up call, or just something that they definitely called out women for, was whenever it was like the Barbie that like watches Netflix for 7 hours.
Depression Barbie?
Depression Barbie, yeah. Like
That was also very true.
No, the one that hit
'cause
home too, that you started giggling about when it was talking about scrolling through, watching your what did it say? Your friends engaged?
estranged friend.
Oh, your estranged best friend get engaged.
Yeah.
And this Barbie wears sweatpants for 7 days and watches the BBC's version of Pride and Prejudice over and over. I was like,
Until they fall asleep.
is there a camera in my college dorm room? Like, what was going on?
But it wasn't just you, because everybody in that theater started laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's so true, and it was so relatable, and that's why this movie is great.
Because I think, honestly, it's just kind of hard to be a person in today's world.
Yeah.
So this is like, here, girls, here's some guidance on what you should be doing. Like, don't do this. Believe in yourself. Do this. It was very empowering, kind of showing that today is a little bit sketchy.
Because they gave Ken some empowerment at the end there.
Yeah, that's why I like they weren't just like, oh, Ken sucks, men are shit, fuck this and that.
Yeah.
It was like, for everybody.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Because even though this movie was not for Ken, and it wasn't a Ken movie, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a place somewhere. You know,
exactly.
And even at the end when Barbie's like, I'm sorry for, treating you that way, because in a way that's kind of how reverse, like you were saying, how the real world was working. It's like, oh no, I don't want you here. Why would you be here? So
I don't even think Ken has a house in Barbie World, because at one point they're like,
where do the Kens sleep? She's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're all just an afterthought.
Yeah. My Ken lived with my Barbie in their dream house. They always had one together. But I think it also just shows, like, it's okay to just be on your own, And at the beginning, how they opened up, Barbie can be whoever she wants to be who you want to be. That's the slogan for Barbie. She has 250 careers. She's squashing all these feminist expectations and stuff. And then it's like, well, that's at least what the Barbies think, because that's what it was made to be, Yeah,
and all these angry, woke, people are just trying to find things that are wrong with everything.
Exactly.
So it's like, I liked how it's not going with that negative, just hate.
Yeah.
It's like, no, why don't you look for the good in things and understand that Barbie's is supposed to be a positive figure. It's not supposed to be a negative thing that is shutting you down.
Yeah.
You should be proud. It's okay to strive to look like a Barbie.
Yeah.
Because that's a pretty person. Like, you should try to become pretty and be proud of yourself and,
be confident.
Yeah, I
confident.
think it's just not something that you aspire to be, but more of just something that's just joyful.
Confident
like
and
women
positive.
are pretty, and all women are beautiful, and I think because I mentioned before that I read something that Amy Schumer was supposed to be Barbie, and it would have gone in a whole different direction. The whole film would have
gotten so much hate. That movie would have gotten so much hate.
And it wouldn't have been as impactful, because if anything, it shows, like when they said Margot Robbie is the worst person to be, you know, speaking about this issue, because to us she is perfect, but it shows that no matter how perfect you are, you can never be perfect enough, you know. So that's, to me, that was the message. And it's smart to have Margot Robbie in this role, because she does look like a Barbie doll. Yeah, but when she falls,
looks like Barbie.
How could you pick a better actress than Margot Robbie to be Barbie?
It was amazing. But it shows that even these celebrities that are beautiful, and to us, like, to me, like Margot Robbie's perfect and Blake Lively's perfect and Taylor Swift is perfect, and they still get all this hate online.
Had to throw T-Swizzle in there.
Oh, I always will. My homegirl. I'm so bummed that they didn't get her on the soundtrack, because that soundtrack was really good in the movie, and I want to listen to it outside. And to me, I think it's a little bit of a disgrace to not have Taylor Swift in there. The number one woman. Actually, I read something that said that Eras Tour, Taylor Swift, and the Barbie movie are boosting the economy right now. Those two things are the biggest things boosting the economy right now in entertainment.
You can say that for a lot of things, though.
Thank you, women.
Yeah, but like a significant, like they're noticing significant spikes in, what do they call that?
Well, it makes sense. It was Sunday. When did the movie come out? A week ago?
Yeah.
And it was almost sold out still, and everybody was still dressed up.
Yeah.
If you go to see a Barbie movie, there's not one lady that goes that does not dress up.
Because it's fun, and it's fun to like be a part of something.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Get your tickets early.
Yeah,
we thought
definitely,
we were safe.
Definitely.
And make sure you buy a pink outfit so you're not the loser in this theater, not dressed in pink.
God, you look like such an idiot.
Look like I just got back golfing.
I think it also just the whole dressing up and everything, and I'm going to bring up Taylor Swift again. Like dressing up and going to Eras Tour, but there's a point to this. I promise.
No, I get it.
I was talking to a friend about it, because she was like, I like Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift, but I don't know how people are just in such a frenzy about it. I think it goes past, like, for me, there's many reasons, you know, just genius and art and stuff, and I can appreciate stuff like that. But it's also just fun to be a part of something like that. You know, when you go to a Barbie movie or a concert of someone that you really like, you're surrounded by other people that share the same interests as you.
And to me, I'm an outsider on this, but to me, it seems like a lot of women have trouble being friends.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
it's
women
really
are
hard.
always just like talking shit behind each other's back, and like it's very hard for girls to get together. So when they actually have something in common to get together, it's like they get finally something to unify again together.
Yeah, a common ground. Like every single time I have a younger girl, even like, really, I shouldn't even say that. When I put someone in the chair, I'm a hairstylist, and I have these questions I always ask to kind of get the ball rolling, and I'll usually feel them out. I'll be like, so do you like Taylor Swift? And a lot of times it's a yes, and then we talk about it the entire time.
And then Mercedes...
and then
if they say yes to that, yes, I do listen to Taylor Swift, then Mercedes just says, okay, be quiet, hour, here I go.
But also,
oh,
like...
perfect, listen to this.
But also, like, are you excited for the Barbie movie? It's just like a common ground, and it's a fun thing to be a part of, and you're so right. It's this world that we live in where it's like, women are criticizing not only themselves but other women, that it's just fun to finally have something to get excited about, to dress up and go to the movie and everyone love it, and have this common ground of positivity. Because, you know, you could be like that 13-year-old and find everything wrong with Barbie and pick out all of her imperfections, but why when it's a positive thing and you can just enjoy it, like enjoying life?
Exactly. It's funny that they got the men to be jealous of each other, and I don't think jealousy is necessarily like a very male trait, but they'll get petty and angry at each other, and then they'll go to war, right? Mm-hmm. But another thing about men is that once they fight and duke it out, they become best friends. That whole fight sequence was a war to them dancing together, holding hands, and they got Ryan Reynolds got a kiss on the cheek, right? Yeah, so like that's the thing about, I think it's very true to like gender roles and how men and women operate, because, you know, men will fight each other. Like I said, men will fight it out, but then once they are beef, like got their beef done, it's like, okay, we can be buddies now. You see so many videos online where two guys are in a fist fight on the streets, and afterward they're like, all right, bro, yeah, bro, and they'll dab each other up afterward, like, all right, respect, see you later.
Mm-hmm.
After they just duked it out in the street, and they're all bleeding, bloody.
Yeah.
Now they're buddies because they bonded over their respectful fight.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, that's a good point. Did you notice how... Okay, so like Will Ferrell's character is the CEO of Mattel, and then she's like, okay, what about CFO? And they're all men. And she's like, what is happening? Not only because to her, it's like all the women rule in Barbie Land, but to us, it's kind of like, yeah, why is something that's like supposed to be for women all run by men? And then did you notice when...
that is odd. That probably is true that all the people that run the company are probably, maybe not anymore, but I'm sure at some point they were all men making girl Barbie dolls, which is kind of funny. How...
Well, like Victoria's Secret was founded by a man.
Well, of course.
It was made up by a dude.
Well, Lululemon, the guy's like...
Playboy.
The guy that made Lululemon, he just does not give a damn.
Yeah.
Was on an interview. He was like, oh yeah, I made Lulus so I can make fat girls' butts look better in in leggings, and because I think it makes women's butts look better, and I like to look at them. Like he just like had no shame in saying that. Oh yeah, I've designed them to make women's asses look better, and I like it.
Yeah,
Well,
he would have made Barbie uncomfortable.
100%.
But I think it's just
I'm gonna
because
look up
when
that
you
quote.
first when the guy first walked into the Mattel room with the conference room that they're in, and Will Ferrell's like, oh, we'll just make her sparkle and then they'll be happy. It's just showing that like men don't know women at all. You know, it is as much as you try, and that's why I was like, I really think that y'all are doing something awesome. By the way, this podcast is awesome.
Thanks.
And y'all
Thank
are
you.
doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But there are things
But
about
there it is.
no, what I mean,
God
there
damn
are
it.
things about women that just like men could to a point never understand. So it's like, why are these men in these roles that are supposed to be for like female companies or whatever? They obviously don't know what women want. So it's kind of, you know, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm looking up some of these. Okay, this is one thing he said in an interview. He was talking about why he was talking about the name Lululemon, and they're talking about like Japanese people, and he said it's funny to watch them try and say it.
Oh my gosh, I saw that. Oh man, that's not okay.
He made comments about how it's funny that Japanese people can't pronounce the L in Lululemon. He's like, it's okay. I thought it was funny. He talked about how people were complaining about how sometimes the thighs,
the beating,
their thighs
it
will
would
rub
beat
up. He's like, yeah, well, some women's bodies aren't meant for my yoga pants.
Yeah, I do remember
So
when
it's really about their
that.
thighs rubbing together. He's like, yeah, that doesn't really work for them.
Yeah,
He just doesn't give a fuck.
but you know that's just one of those brands that people are gonna keep on buying.
Oh yeah, I mean
He can literally say whatever
It's
the fuck
super
he
nice
wants.
clothing. He doesn't work. His name is Chip Wilson. As you can probably guess.
I think I remember
Chip.
Yeah.
when he said
It all
the
makes sense
beating
now.
up one. I remember
Yeah.
when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not obviously doesn't work there anymore, but he's the founder of it, and it's hilarious that a guy that just probably says horrible things. Makes
that's just in
like
interviews.
every woman on the planet owns a pair of Lululemons.
Yeah.
Not on the
Mhm.
planet, but you know. I'm gonna find out what else. He said some other funny things about why he made them the way they made them. It's just pretty
Mhm.
funny.
I'd like to talk, just kind of backtrack. But that opening scene for this Barbie movie, that was really, really good. It was
Yeah.
funny. Like the little girls, like in their, I don't even know, like pilgrim outfits.
Yeah.
Playing with their like baby dolls. And then there's just giant Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
And they just
Destroy their baby doll.
destroy like
Yeah.
in the slow motion. I was like, damn, that's
I
all right,
think
this is
it's
a good start.
Wow, I don't know if this is a fact, but it's like damn near shot for shot for 2001:
Yeah,
A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That whole scene is
Mhm.
2001: A Space Odyssey because it's the monkeys hitting the bones.
Yeah.
The bone flies up to the space, and then Barbie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool how because the music was the same, That's the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole scene is just that, and it's
Damn,
pretty
I don't
funny.
even know how I didn't connect that because I just watched that movie like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, that is exactly what they were going for. No, that was good. That was really good.
I thought it was funny. There's a lot of parts I was giggling the whole
Oh,
time.
Oh no, this was a funny movie. Like there were a lot of good parts.
Yeah.
Like Margot Robbie looking up and saying, "I'm just not beautiful anymore," and the narrator, who we haven't heard from since pretty much the beginning of the movie, saying, "Future note to film writers: casting Margot Robbie in this role is not going to be as impactful as you'd like it to be."
Yeah.
Because Margot
Yeah.
Robbie is supposed to be doing what I would assume to be like an ugly, given up on life cry, and she's still a fucking dime.
Yeah, I mean, when they showed her,
Respectfully.
you could tell that whenever she was feeling bad about herself and she felt she wasn't pretty, they just took her makeup off. But it's like, yeah, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Sorry.
No, and I bet that might have been them like really trying just for
No,
them to
I
throw
think they
that
were.
line in there. They must have been like, okay, like we just can't do this.
And
like,
it's funny now. It's like, okay, look, we understand that Margot Robbie can't not look pretty. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's like, just take it as it is.
Yeah, that was funny.
She's Barbie.
When she's on the park bench and she's seeing all different types of humanity, it's like some people are laughing but some people are crying when she first gets there, and then she tells the older lady who
So that older lady, I found out she's not the daughter, but she's an award-winning costume designer.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Wow.
Cool
Okay.
nod, because that's why I was asking about the budget for hair, makeup, because it is an ode to wardrobe. And like what you're saying about America Ferrera wearing the pinks and stuff, that's where it's like wardrobe and hair and makeup are so important to the story and like character development, because it kind of, not really, because you're pointing that out because you watch films, but as just a movie goer, you would look at it and subconsciously you make those connections. That's where like colors and wardrobe, that's where that feeds into like story and becomes really, really important.
That's why movies are so damn cool.
So cool. And you can pick it apart as much as you want. It's so entertaining to do so. But when she says to the older lady, like, "You're beautiful," and she goes, "I know," I think it shows that like as women, I did see something, Jane Fonda on Call Her Daddy says that when you as a woman, when women get older, you like unlock this like new confidence and everything. Your brain just like becomes exponentially, more wise as a woman. And she also said that men, like women, come into their own whenever they get older, but men have like midlife crisis, But so that whole point that I was going to make is she tells her that she's beautiful, and she says, "I know," because I think there comes a maturity and a confidence when you're an older woman and you really realize your beauty.
And I think there was just like an ode to like humanity in that anyways, because she's looking at a woman who has obviously been through all of those emotions that she just witnessed in one frame, and she's like, damn, like you went through all that,
And
like,
she's content.
and you're still just sitting on this bench just chilling, relaxing, like, like, you're beautiful. She's like, fuck yeah.
And it's kind of like, but I think as people get older, they become wiser and they care less because they've been through life for so long and they know they're at the end of life. So all those small things don't matter anymore. So I think it's not just a women thing. I think it's a people thing. But for this movie, seeing that old lady, and the old lady knows she's beautiful, right? Because she's seeing all the stuff that's happening, all the little things that are bothering all the girls. It's like, that stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, get over that. Like, that's a young thing. You're worried about status and this and that. And the old lady's already been through it all, and she's gotten past it. She's probably made some mistakes that she's learned from. So now she's like, oh, I know I am. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm pretty. I don't need anybody to tell me anything about myself. I know who I am. I'm confident in myself. I know I'm pretty.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, I think that y'all hit it on the head. Also, that's a person that did not grow up with the internet, So I think this movie was about kind of like what the 13-year-old was like, you're setting these beauty standards and stuff like that, because as a girl, it's really hard to go on social media and just see the best parts of somebody's life, especially when you're like we were talking about scrolling and you know, because there's a bunch of pictures out there, even of the supermodels that are like photoshopped and stuff, and it makes you want to be that. But also some of those things, like, yes, you should strive to be healthy, you know, a healthy human being, but this tiny waist and this big butt, and, you know, I think that was also important to the movie, that like having to live up to those beauty standards, like America Ferrera was saying. It's like, you want to be skinny, but not too skinny, because then you're unhealthy. But then when you're healthy, you're overweight, you know?
Why do you think it's different? Why do you think it's different for men and women? Because I feel like when men see a jacked stud that's just like fucking shredded up, or like, God damn, boy, and like, look at him, like, and you want to get that, but you don't feel negatively about it. Why do you think women, what is that with women where they feel insecure when they see somebody prettier versus men maybe admire it?
You know what I think? I think all women have a strong competitiveness kind of woven into them. I don't think that's just it, but I have noticed as getting older and because I wasn't around.
You think more competitive than men? Because men will go to war, you know what I mean?
Well, in different ways. Like we were talking about how women think differently and more mischievous. I think we find different ways to like be competitive, and you know, you want to be the best, you want to be the prettiest in every single room. So I think I did see this thing that was like, when men look in the mirror, they think they look great, you know, but when women look in the mirror, all they see are these insecurities. So I think it's men strive to be better in like a positive way, but women, it's kind of like just see everything that's wrong with yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I really don't know, other than just like growing up and like being a girl is hard. And I think choosing America Ferrera's daughter to be the age that she was pretty spot on, because she was a mean motherfucker. And being a middle school girl, like, was she like 13? That is the worst. I would not. That's could not pay me to go back to 13.
Nobody enjoyed being 13.
Like, kids are mean, but like girls are mean.
Yeah,
like
I was having a great time at 13.
She was like picking
running
out.
Shadow Recon.
It was awesome. No. I was past Shadow Recon at 13.
Okay.
I was I was like 2 years past. But no, what the girls did to each other.
Oh my God.
I mean, y'all were seriously one of the evilest things Ruthless. I've ever seen. And like, even when I was a younger kid, I remember like my sister, like, we moved to a different town when I was 7, so she was like 12, 13 years old. And I mean, I think that's like really the worst situation a girl can be put in, is when like you're like kind of, I mean, no 13-year-old girl is pretty, but like even semi pretty, and you're the new girl, I mean, they tore her apart.
Yes, because that's a threat. That's what I mean, like a competitiveness back here. It's like you want to be there for all women and stuff, but I think it's just something like written into the DNA that I believe that there's in women. There's that nurturing part. I think there's also that like competitiveness, because like teenage boys, they'll like fist fight and stuff, but girls will find what you don't like about you and tell you to your face. And you know what you do? You go home and you stare at the ceiling, and all you do is think about it, and then you have a complex. And then you're thinking about it every single day, and you cry about it every single day.
And then you do something worse to the next girl.
Well,
not really. I'm just said that.
But like,
there will be
if
blood.
A girl was like, "Oh, you have linebacker shoulders" or something, it's like, do I? And then when you look in the mirror, that's all you see: linebacker shoulders. And then you believe all your life. I had someone say that to me, and I thought like all throughout high school. Oh yeah, that was a
pretty
real life,
specific.
Real life
that had to come
situation. Actually, Mason Cagley told me that when I was
he's joking. He's just being funny.
But you know, it's a different level of warfare. Like we were talking about, that men will fight out here, but the real fight is up in here.
I wonder if it's like a survival thing, because if you think about back caveman time, and I say this in the best way possible. I don't mean to degrade women because of this, but it's like a man can live on his own, but it'd be hard for a woman to, just because of the physicality.
Sure.
'Cause a man can fight off something. He can go run and hunt something. He's just built for it better than a woman is. Than a woman is. Than a woman is. And so maybe that translates today, where if there's a pretty girl that, you know, guys are more attracted to, DNA, back deep in our DNA of like caveman times, it's like, how am I going to be safe if I'm not going to have this man to protect me?
Yeah.
No, that's not really what it is, but that could be this deep down ingrained in your brain. That's like
Primal.
maybe that's the root cause. It's that primal instinct of, I need this man to help me out because that way I have some safety. Because if we were living in a cave and there's predators everywhere, a man is just built to protect. This is what he instinctually wants to do.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
that's the reason.
I definitely believe in that. That's a really good point. I would say that's a good explanation for that. Because I believe in all those like primal, instinctual things that are woven into our DNA as our gender. You know.
What did you not like about the movie?
She didn't like the mermaid tail.
Yeah.
But other than that,
What did you not like about it, Gray?
I mean, what did I not like?
I thought there were some jabs at men that I thought were like, all right, you don't really have to say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just kind of understood it being from a woman's perspective, like just it being directed by a woman, and like it's about Barbie. Like, obviously, they just see men different than we see ourselves. So I had full open-mindedness going into this movie that there would definitely be some jabs, but I didn't have a problem with it. I don't know. I mean, because at the end of the day, like I know it's PG-13, but like the fact that they were making like the real world still kind of goofy. I mean, like Will Ferrell, like the chase scene for Barbie, it's like, okay, like I do have to remember that this was like a movie that you can bring like your 7 to 13-year-old daughter to. So
like the Martell censor of the F word.
Yeah,
but that
the
one caught me
Mattel.
off guard, and that gave me a good laugh. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. So no, like it was it was a movie that I just knew I wasn't going to totally understand. That's okay. But I liked it. Thought it was a good movie. And obviously it got its point across. Or at least to our one woman.
Yep.
Did you notice this? I wanted to bring this up because of y'all were talking about in Death Proof where Tarantino has the feet thing. So true. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
But did you notice when her feet fall flat and she's around all the girls and she's showing them, she lifts up her foot, and then there's that one Ken with the binoculars looking at her foot. I was like, oh, ew.
And that's when they like hide her feet even more.
Yeah, and she's like, ooh.
And then when he starts throwing up, they're like, okay, hey,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, shut the fuck out. No, this is a good movie. I don't think it really matters what my opinion on this movie was.
What do you mean? You watched it.
Because I just didn't pick up on pretty much all of the references.
Yeah, but you know what, Gray? You're a person too. And I
Thank
think that's
you.
the whole point of this movie. Y'all are Kens. And
I felt
we love
empowered.
Ken.
But I
No?
just mean for the people that are going to listen to this podcast and actually want to get something out of like picking up on the references, like Mercedes, what did you think about this movie? Like, what would you rate it?
Oh, I've been thinking about that. Y'all are kind of harsh on your ratings, but I also get it.
5 is average. That's
5
like a
is
movie that's like
average?
5's like, okay, yeah, that was good.
You know, I said this when I came out, top 10 movie for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was...
And then before we got on the podcast, you actually said it was perfect. So
It was perfect. It was everything that I wanted it to be. And that's me. I've given out 2 top 10 spots in the past week because when we saw Oppenheimer, definitely a top 10 movie for me. Obviously, different reasons, different vibes. Also, genius to kind of market them together. I would expect both of them got a lot of money out of people just going to see Barbenheimer, which is where you go see one first and then you immediately go to the other one.
Yeah,
which I would recommend doing Oppenheimer first and then Barbie to get off on a good note when you go home.
Yeah.
Man.
But also, that is a lot of movie watching for one day.
Oppenheimer's 3 hours.
How long was this movie?
An hour and 45.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
looked it
pretty
up.
quick.
Yeah.
But like, can't imagine actually like seeing Barbie with the mimosas and everything. Well, actually, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then after seeing Barbie, like going to a whiskey bar, drinking whiskey and like smoking a cigar, and then going to watch Oppenheimer, which is a 3-hour movie, like most people would fall asleep.
No, that's why
Oh,
I
yeah.
said you should do that one first.
Yes, but
Yeah.
a lot of people were doing the thing where they went and saw Barbie in the morning.
Oh, in the morning. Yeah.
So,
rate this movie. I
yeah.
would give it a 9.5.
God damn, dude. A 9.5?
It was
had
so
her
good.
crying for like
Dude,
20 minutes.
Fair.
And it
It
was
hit-
happy crying.
It hit everything. The plot was awesome. It made sense. It tied up. I was engaged the entire time. It gave me emotion. It gave me funny. It was visually stunning. The acting was amazing. Like, I can't really find anything wrong with it other than Dua Lipa's tail did not turn purple in the water.
I'm going to give it a 3.
Like, what? Someone freeze frame my face when you just said that.
No. Honestly, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
You're tripping.
Okay.
6.
No way. I mean, actually, no, I get it. Because you're men.
I almost fell
But it's
asleep.
also like, but you loved it really for the message.
I loved it for everything.
But I mean, I'm saying the movie as a whole, I didn't think the movie as just a movie was a masterpiece.
Sure. But y'all haven't said it once on this podcast. It was a fun movie. What a
Yeah.
fun movie. What a journey. You realize you say that every single episode.
What a
journey.
This
Well, we
was,
watched a few crazy movies, I think, in the few. So you're like, what a journey.
Yeah.
Death
Yeah.
Proof. That's a journey.
This one, like I said, I just I didn't totally get everything, and obviously like it was a kid movie. I feel bad. I almost fell asleep at one point. But no, like I totally understand why this is a hit or miss type movie.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like nothing about it blew me away. I thought there were funny parts.
But I wasn't the target audience for this movie.
No. Me and you
Yeah.
are definitely
And
not
I
a target audience.
and I accepted that.
Yeah.
I embraced it. I even tried to beat Ken on a level. I'm wearing these pink shorts and this Ken kind of
I should
shirt.
have flattened your hair like how he had it.
Yeah.
And then with the bandana. I thought Ryan Gosling was awesome. For what he had to be, I thought he played a great character.
That's probably a pretty difficult role to play.
Yeah.
Because like you're a doll,
Yeah.
you're a simp.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I
Yeah,
think-
that's
I love Ryan Gosling because he can play a dumb Ken character and he can
Yeah.
also play the
the
gray man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's why I
I love
said-
that dude. He's my favorite
Good
actor.
actor.
Like,
Good actor.
we were having that debate, who has more range, Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Gosling? I was like, Ryan Gosling by far. Yes.
I don't know
Yes.
about that.
Oh my gosh, you can go from, I don't know, Barbie to La La Land to The Gray Man to The Nice Guys to The Notebook. Are you kidding? Think about
but
it,
La La
really.
Land
God,
and
he really was made for this movie.
oh,
Yeah.
100% he's made for this
Yeah.
movie.
The
Yeah.
Notebook guy
And I think that
totally
casting...
needs to be Ken.
Well, yeah, exactly. So these older women that are going to this movie also grew up with The Notebook. You
But
know,
the Nice
with him
Guys
being that
is him playing that Ken character. Same type of acting, being goofy, silly, funny, not very smart.
Yeah. But I think having Ryan Gosling as a heartthrob for older women was a good cast for the Ken. For
No,
the
I think
target
it's the best
audience.
Ken. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling as Barbie and Ken is perfect.
That was
Yeah.
That was
The only
perfect
thing I
casting.
thought maybe would be just as good would be Ryan Reynolds and bleach out his hair and make him tan. I thought he would have been hilarious
Nah,
as Ken.
because Ryan Gosling kind
I
of
s-
have like a sweeter face,
No.
if that makes sense.
I
He
think
could have
that
been Ken.
Ryan
I get what
Reynolds
you're
looks
saying.
more like Ken. In like the doll face, how it's like a little whiter, and they could have whitened out his teeth and made him super tan and bleach blonde. I think it would have been hilarious. But I think
I could see that working.
Yeah.
He could have played that role, but.
And then I think he would have played that goofy, like.
Okay, maybe
it's
so.
Ryan
I'm thinking
Reynolds.
about him in what's that movie with Sandra Bullock?
The Proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved him in that movie.
Yeah, I could see him as Ken.
Deadpool, he'd be hilarious.
Dude, that sucks so bad that the Deadpool 3 movie, they can't improvise. He can't improvise like he's done in the past two. Because of the white writer strike. They can't write, so he can't improvise.
I get it, though.
I understand the premise of it, but I just don't like how they can't do it.
Yeah, but I get it.
But that sucks for the actual movie.
Well, give them get fair wages, and then they could keep on making the movie.
Boom.
It is hard. I wonder how they can do that, because it is hard. It makes sense of why it went down, why their pay went down, because there's no ticket sales. You don't get revenue. It's just streaming. So you put a movie up, Netflix pays you a fat check. I guess the checks need to be split up better than they are.
Well, and if you think about it, Netflix is looking for young filmmakers that will just give them content just to put out. So they're thinking, oh, we can get all these, we can pick a script, give them shit pay, and they'll still take it just to have something on Netflix, when that's not what it's about. This is still art. It's still an art form, and I can value art.
Well, LA, I feel like Los Angeles was built to just screw people over for the entertainment industry, because it's super expensive to live there. You're working any way you can to make money, because you have an $8,000 rent. I just heard this on a podcast. $8,000 rent to stay there. So you just let yourself get fucked over, because I'll sign the shitty contract. It's a $10K. I'm making $10,000. Okay, yes, I need the money. I need to pay rent this month. So yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah. So you're desperate, so they'll just fuck you over. Here's a shitty contract. You get $10,000. We're gonna make $20 million. Thank you, and you have to take it because you can't. You have to pay rent, so you have to take the deals.
Yeah. So
LA just kind of built around that, just desperation of these people that would just take whatever they can get.
Well, it's an industry standard, not. I mean, I guess saying LA is just putting a place to what it's collectively at. I know what you mean by that. It's just and that's why all these actors, and when we were talking about it, it's not that these A-list actors are walking out and participating in this strike for themselves, because yes, they do make a lot of money off of these movies. They're doing it for people like y'all, people that still want to make art and be in this industry, and for the people that are going to come up after them, and for them to have a fair shot, and to get paid for their ideas and for their art. So if anything, we should be all in on this freaking strike, man, because we're going to definitely benefit from it. Because when it comes out at the end, hopefully soon, so that we don't have to, because there's a lot of shows that are going to have a giant gap.
Yep. And these streaming services need a lot more content, because nobody's making anything.
Yeah. They're going to start feeling it.
It's time to get in the writer room.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why I wish so bad that we had our CRWN Cinema studio up and running, because this would be the perfect opportunity to take advantage. Because if we're not involved in Hollywood, then we're not mispaying people. If we had our thing in Austin that is our dream, and we're making movies in Austin, not tied to Hollywood, not tied to Atlanta, not tied to New York, we're just our own thing. Like how Atlanta's its own thing, New York's its own thing, Hollywood's its own thing, and somewhere else too. North Carolina maybe too. I think North Carolina's starting to boom up a little bit. Atlanta for sure is. But anyway, if we had our own thing going already, then it's take full advantage. We pay people. Hey guys, you are getting shit pay? All right, come to Austin. We got you. We'll give you good pay for what you make.
Yeah, but I think it's just and we've talked about this multiple times. I think that being a part of a union when you're an artist is very valuable, because you get a lot of support from other artists. There's a lot of, since all this, the SAG strike is going on and everything, a lot of actors have came out and talked about when they got their SAG card, and you become a part of something and you all stand together. So I think if we were to do that, it would almost be taking away from the whole message and the whole levity of the strike that's supposed to be happening. Because if not everyone's in it, that's why if you're in it, they vote as a collective to not take part in it. Because if someone gives, then the streaming services are just going to keep on doing what they're doing. You have to do something big, because these are big people with a lot of money.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about the union idea is that you don't have the freedom to do whatever you want to do. You have to if I want to make a movie in Hollywood, I have to be in the union. I have to use union workers. That's what and you're like Ryan Reynolds, because of the strike, and the strike is justified. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he's not able to freely make his movie, which sucks. If I was making a movie and I spent time and effort to making exactly what I want to do, and they say, oh yeah, you can't improvise now. You're like, what? What do you mean I can't improvise now? It's like, this is my movie. Like I'm putting a lot of effort into this thing. Why can't I have the freedom to do what I want to do?
But it's not like one person making the decision to be on the strike. They have to vote on it.
Right.
As a union, they voted on it.
Let's not call this cause. Let's just say there's something that happens and they want to strike, but I don't want to strike. Or maybe I want to do something different. I have to be a part of the collective, despite me having a different opinion.
It's just like living in a government, man.
Exactly. It's a big... Yeah. That's what I don't like about it. It's this big...
Yeah. But if you want
got a hand on you the whole time. You always have a hand on you.
I mean, I would say there's a lot more benefits in being involved than not. Because I think if you're not involved, then people can take more advantage of your art. And then there really are starving artists. So a lot of these actors are saying there shouldn't be starving artists because there is no art.
That's why I think if there wasn't that, there would be other companies that are growing and then paying people well. Because like Joe Rogan, for instance, in Austin, he's screwing the other clubs that don't pay comics very well because he's not making money from his comedy club. He pays very well to the comedians that perform there. You get big checks. Like you go there and you can make a living practicing as a comedian. So if you're a club owner who opens a club in Austin, Texas, and you don't pay well, you're going to just collapse because no comedian's going to want to go perform at your shop. That's why you need to have good businesses that pay people well, because then the ones that fuck people over are just going to go out of business because nobody wants to work for you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what the union kind of does, but then there's also that controlling, you're on a leash kind of, sort of.
Yeah, but I think that's with anything. Anything that you're a part of. Well,
yeah,
there's something, you know. But do you know what's going on with you've been following the strikes?
The Hollywood strikes?
You as an actor, what do you have to say about the union?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's really bad that these people that put all the effort into the writing room, they're not getting like the residuals that they deserve, especially when a show or a movie switches to a streaming platform, like something that's on Netflix goes to HBO and a paycheck comes in differently, and then it does better like on HBO than it does on Netflix, but they're making like less than $1,000, and they could have been like the biggest part of like one of the most popular episodes, and they're not seeing anything for it. I mean, it's about to change. So, I mean, there is like a very positive side to the strike.
Yeah.
The other positive side is just like for us, like writing, like I said at the beginning of all this, there's such a huge gap now because streaming services, Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Peacock, all of them, they're constantly wanting to pay people to like give them content or at least just ideas. And now that it's been halted for a few months, they're going to be like begging people to give them stuff, and they're going to pay them better.
Yeah. I agree with the strike. I think it's pretty shitty how little they're getting paid. Yeah. I just don't like the fact that you have a control. I just don't like the lack of freedom some people have. Yeah. That's it. I think
now, but that could change once they get paid more.
Yeah.
It's like, Mr. Deadpool, you can improvise now because, oh, wait, you already did well with your last two movies. Like, we trust your vision, but, like, we still want to, like, get paid for the ideas that we also brought to the table.
Yeah. No, I totally understand and I get it. I would hate to be in that situation where
you're just terrified that Deadpool 3 isn't going to be too good.
Yeah.
So am I. Because I saw Hugh Jackman in that Wolverine suit.
Okay,
and I'm like, fuck, I hope they don't mess this
But
up.
wouldn't that suck if that movie wasn't good? Because he couldn't improvise.
I
You're
agree.
like,
That's what I'm
ruin
saying.
that fucking
I'm
movie.
scared, but like, also you got to pay the writers.
They should just fucking get over it and pay them well, so that way Ryan Reynolds can improvise 100%. I just hate the fact that has to be a thing that happens.
Yep. Yep. But anyways, Barbie.
I gave it a 6.5.
I gave it a 6, but that's also just with lack of understanding. I'll bump it up to a 7 because the acting was good. There were a lot of
Damn, you jumped the whole point.
Yep, there were a lot of jokes that were made that even as a non-Barbie guy, I still thought were pretty funny.
You just conformed to all the women you're scared of yelling at you.
I said that. No. I said the 6.
I whispered in his ear that I was gonna beat the hell out of him after
No, because
this.
then I started thinking, I was like, no, you know what? I was laughing a pretty decent amount in this movie theater. So if it's going for comedy, it did pretty good. Yeah. So I mean, 7. Not bad. I could watch it again.
Oh,
I'd watch it again.
Gonna definitely watch it again, and by myself, so that I can truly ugly cry. Like I really wanted to, and I'm not always in the when Margot Robbie's like, I cried and it actually felt good. I haven't had a really good cry in a while, and I was like, oh, kind of feels good just to get it all out.
No, good for you. Go sob it up in the shower, like you said.
Yeah.
And then when Kade goes to bed, go stand on the balcony, scream to the sky. Yeah, just go nuts. I'm probably just gonna go home and have a couple beers.
I give it a 9.5. Greta Gerwig, you are the queen of feminist movies. The number one, it broke the glass ceiling for female directors. Opening weekend, she made $199 million on opening weekend.
And they're still pumping. She is still pumping out money because that theater was full.
Yeah.
Full.
And you know what? All of her movies have had over a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes too.
I think this one should be safe.
I am so excited to see what else is to come, but also with Margot Robbie producing. I think this is her first movie, if not one of her first movies producing.
I don't know if she was involved in Babylon.
Probably not.
No. Brad Pitt was. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
it makes sense that this would be her first movie to kind of have the name production wise.
Mm-hmm.
The real life Barbie doll, starring in Barbie, producing Barbie.
Mm-hmm. All my friends from work told me that they were gonna watch this, so this may be y'all's highest. If this has the highest views out of all of them, then Gray is fired.
Air 74.
Then I take Gray's job.
There's the dogs.
The dogs are going
perfect
crazy.
timing.
If you go to CRWNCinemaShop.com, you can get a hat like I'm wearing. We got shirts, a couple new designs.
If this video does well, we might put some Barbie stuff out there.
Might make a Barbie shirt.
Might have to.
So buy yourself some merch. Help us out. We're still only have one light. We got the window. Luckily, we're filming during the daytime for once, so we got a little extra light. So we need an extra light. Buy some merch.
Help us.
Support. Rep it. We're out.